What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ranch. All right, ranchers, checking in to tell you about my hunting experience I had on November 10th. Hope you guys are having a great season. I figured I'd wait a little while for the internet to die down with all their hunting videos you've probably been watching and getting pumped out, and figured now it's my turn. Being a smaller channel, I get my stuff out a little bit after the hype was all done. So November 10th, nice rut hunting in New York with the bow. Had a heck of a morning. Took 2 misses on 2 different 8-pointers. And woo! I could include a link to some of those shots if you haven't seen that. Check that out. What a morning. My camera went dead because I had it running so much, so I decided to leave. I was not planning on getting out of my stand, but I did. I went, charged my equipment, have a little lunch, kind of sulk about missing twice on 2 8-pointers. Wow. And I came back, same stand, same situation. The wind was right, the temperature was right, the day was right. And I had faith that my trap was still going to work in the afternoon after having 2 heartbreaking experiences during this rut time that I was in. So I'm sitting there November 10th, it's Friday, it's 4:14, and I look to my left, and out of this bedding area that I'm sitting on, I have a big 8-pointer coming out, and I can't believe it. This is where the second 8-pointer came out of, and I was hoping it was my big 8 coming back. It wasn't the big 8, but this was a really good 8. And he comes out, and I'm watching him for it feels like forever, come out of this bedding area. He doesn't make the turn and go where I really predicted him to go. He went to the second split in the road where my second shot is. It's not my favorite shot of the 2, but it's very doable. It's what I'm groomed and shooting lanes are all prepped for. It's about a 30-yard shot. So in the morning I missed because I didn't quite range find. And I know you're saying, don't you know exactly every tree in front of you? Well, I do. The first deer came in, and it wasn't supposed to come in from that way, so I really wasn't prepped to take a shot that way. So I overestimated his distance, and I ended up shooting right over the top of him. I had him pegged, in my mind, 5 yards further away than he actually was, so he was really able to buck limbo right underneath my arrow. So now I got this big 8, he's behind me, and I draw, and I actually come back and go, no, I'm not doing this again. I know that tree is 30 yards, but I'm going to check it anyway. So I range find right where this deer is going to be when he steps out from the thick he's in, which is where I'm watching him. He's hanging out, taking his time, and it's going to be 33 yards, so I figure he's stepping right in front of this big tree. He'll be at 30, which is what I have planned. So now I have a plan. And he's standing there, no rush, just shaking, checking him, rubbing himself, scratching himself. He has no idea I'm there. And I know this whole area has beds in it, has rubs in it. It's like perfect where he's stepping out of. He's in his comfort zone, and everything is perfect. He steps out, and whack! And I see him take off, and I could see the arrow break off, and I'm like, oh, it's a little high. And I thought, oh no, the arrow didn't get much penetration. To me, it looked like half the arrow was going to be, hanging out of him when I go over and check out this shot now. And he takes off, and he goes around behind me, and he slows down, and I'm like, oh good, go down, go down, go down. And he doesn't go down, but he just walks off. So, he took a big 100-yard sprint and then kind of walked off and dropped over the back where I can't see him anymore. And I'm like, all right, so like I said, this is 4:14, and I am in no way going to jump down and push this awesome 8-pointer and bump him and make him take off, because I saw arrow in him. And now I run back my camera and I'm starting to look at it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I double lunged him. This is good. So as I'm looking at my camera, I hear, and I'm like, oh my God, the same spot my 8-pointer I just shot came out of, there's another 8-pointer. Same spot. And he kind of, I'm not being as cool and camo as I should be, so something was up and he might have seen me, but I'm not sure what he was doing. And I'm like, holy crap. And I wish I had my camera ready, because that would have been really cool to catch the snortweeze he threw at me. And was very excited to see that he was not quite as big as the 8-pointer I just shot. So watched him, and he comes out and follows the same path. He actually walks off following the same trail where the other 8-pointer ran off to. So I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Everything is calm. Everything is settled. And again, 414 was my shot. Now we're talking like probably like 430, 440-ish, and it's getting dark. So I have a lot of trouble when it comes to tracking deer. This is not my strong point. Some people, you know, it always works out. They find their deer. For me, my friend calls me the killer. I shoot deer, and they're dead definitely somewhere, but I can't find them. So I'm being cool, and I'm taking my time. So I climb out of the stand at dark, and I go over to the shot site, and I come up to what I think is going to be a good chunk of arrow. And man, when he broke off the first half of the arrow, it was only up to the feathers. I was super pumped. I'm like, wow, I got great penetration. And there's brown fur and a blood, and I'm like, oh, it's great. I go a little further, and I find the front end of the arrow. I'm about 50 yards straight where he ran. This is where he was like really going hard. Find the front arrow, and there's a big splatter there. Whoosh. So much so that it almost looks like his direction changed, and I knew that couldn't have been because I saw him run because there was just so much splatter there. But with that splatter, my deer stops bleeding. We're talking pin drops. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is the classic Dr. Nick story here. They go down to pin drops, and then I can't find them. So I decide to back out. I mark it, I back out, and I decide to call a dog guy. Never done this before. Super pumped. The guy answers. So in past, I've called dog people, left messages, never heard back. This guy picked up, and really nice guy, a guy named Wayne, came out with his dog Bo the next morning, asked me, hey, did I push? I go, no, I didn't push. I go, I actually have it on video. He's like, awesome, send me the video. He calls me back. He's like, you know, it seems like you got a good shot. I go, I know I got a good shot. This deer's down. I need your services. So if you've never done this before, really cool. I highly recommend you do it if you get the guy to come out. It is a little costly. I mean, it's a donation costly, and there's, you know, that's how this guy worked. But for me to lose an 8-pointer like this was not really something I wanted to do again, because I've been down that road where the blood just dries up and you can't find your deer, and that, I think, to me, is worse than missing or not getting a shot or a whole other hunting beat scenarios. So Wayne came out with his dog Bo. We found my deer. It was awesome. I can't be more excited, and sure enough, I did. I double lunged the deer a little high, and if you'd like imagine the deer's cavity, I hit him right here. There you go. I got a target right here. So what had happened was the arrow went through him. He was double lunged, but because of the cavity, he was bleeding all internally. Nothing was coming out of him yet. And he went and he laid in his buck bed, and underneath him in the bed was where all the blood was. And he was, when I found him, he was all curled up, and you know, he just went to sleep. And it was like really great, and he made a total of 200 yards. So what they say about double lung, you could go proceed right away, and less than 200 yards was true. And I think if I pushed that night, I might have found him, but I think playing it safe like I did was really the right move. So this for me was super exciting. I got this awesome 8-pointer. It is now the biggest buck I've taken with my bow. There may have been bigger that I've shot and could not recover, but this now is my biggest bow deer, and I'm super pumped at it. And that's my story about hanging in there in this rut stand after a morning that was quite heartbreaking with a lot of like misses and a lot of action overall. So sometimes if the conditions are right and you get busted or you have a miss, you gotta hang out in there, and you just know your plan and strategy is the right plan and strategy, and hang in there and let's see if it works out for you, because it did for me, and I'm super excited. This is my story, my rut hunt this year, November 10th, 2023. Please like and follow. If you found this interesting, let me know in the comments. Let me know what kind of deer you got this year. Did you get it with the bow? Did you get it with the rifle? As far as rifle goes, so far I only got a doe this year. So I got 2 deer, which meets my meat quota for the year. So now I know My family and my friends are going to enjoy deer for an entire year because we eat about 2 deer is my consumption rate for the year. But season's still going. I may get a 3rd deer. We shall see. Thanks for watching, guys.